go, 5 lights, and away we go. Edge on pole position. Off they go, and I see he's got a decent start there. Edge got a very good one. He's clear into turn 1. Into 3rd place by the looks of it goes Silver.
Oh, and there's a car off. It's not Thomas into the wall. He lost a bit of his front wing.
There's all sorts of fun and games going on into the fast chicane there. Rev. Oh, and OceanChief get together, and off goes Ocean into the wall. So Edge,
He's getting into the nose.
about a half a second ahead of Sergio. Sergio's running a little bit wide, hitting the wall on the inside. That was a big impact. I'm not sure whether it got any of the front wing. It looked like he might have been alright. Very close now. Copy having to go to the outside of Bams as they run through turn 8 absolutely side by side. And I think he might just have this sort of side by side on the exit. They're going to be side by side, I think, all the way up towards the far chicane. Who's going to blink here? Bams on the outside, Copy on the inside. Bams. Alright, here we are. It is SLR Season 2, the French Grand Prix, about to get underway. I'm not going to lie, folks, we weren't sure this was going to happen, and it looks like it is. We have 14 drivers in the lobby, and we have myself and also Thimo alongside me. I'm not sure whether he's alongside me right now. He will be very... He is! Yeah, how are you doing, Thimo?
I'm doing great. France is a great track. I don't connect any bad experience with this track whatsoever. And I'm looking forward to see cars driving through blue lines on the floor. Also, sorry for postponing everything, but for everything having a delay, it's just the Steam servers were down because TipsyBob DDoSed them, so our stream would have less viewers than theirs of last Thursday. So it's all their fault, not ours.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. We
oh, Mac made it in.
Like I said, we weren't absolutely certain that this was going to happen, but it is happening. We have 14 drivers, and we have... Who do we have? I think everyone who's towards the front end of the grid. Certainly we have. We've got Edge, Copy.
Astro is missing.
Astro is missing, so we don't have Astro Boys. We do have Get Owned. We have Triton as well, back from last week, obviously. And yeah, I mean, you can see the people that we have. We also have Jesse and Wimpy, who are here once again.
We have all the fast boys, and we have Jesse and Wimpy is not what you intended to say, or anything, because it definitely didn't sound like it. But
sorry, Jesse. Sorry, Wimpy.
No. Busted. No. Also, we've got 2 new promoted drivers from tier. Oh no, Mac.
Yeah, we don't have Mac by the looks of it. We thought we might have the lesser spotted Mac Jagley, but sadly not. Maybe next time.
I sent the invite out, but guess he thought better of it after he joined 5 seconds after quali begun. We've got 2 promoted drivers, and one is... so here you're going to... Is it Atrocity or Atrocity or...
Atrocity, yeah, what you said the first time. Yeah.
Isn't that like a proper
it
word?
means like a big, like human rights style disaster, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Like the atomic bombs were atrocities. So yeah.
Ah, okay. So let's see if he's going to tactical nuke away everyone today. He certainly did in tier 2 Thursday, which is the reason, quite frankly, why he's here now. Driving in the Force India. Also, we've got one driver with certainly a wonderful name, and that is Popo Gamer 4000.
There you go.
Yes, in the Haas car, also from tier 2, delivered some great pace, some good racing, and has now earned his seat here. Anyone else? I think Light Cruiser is also a tier 2 driver. But he didn't get promoted, so I'm actually not certain why he's here. Maybe
because he's admin. I think he's here to host the session and etc. I'm not sure.
Ah, right. Exactly yeah, he's hosting.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, last race, which I think Ruthful won, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he did. Yep, he did.
yeah, there was some driver switcheroo. For example, now we've got Benz retired again for like the 4th time or something. So we have him out of the Ferrari, and that Ferrari is taken by, I think, yeah, Danico in general.
Yep.
And also we've got Triton, who did a quick Felipe Massa on us. Like he wanted to see every one of us crying because he said he would retire. But then, unfortunately, he fortunately sorted out things in his real life, and now he's driving for Renault. So he basically just got outmaneuvered by Danico and betrayed for his Ferrari seat. That's basically what happened. And now he's here in yellow.
So yeah, we do have him in the championship though, which is definitely a good thing. We like to see Triton on the grid. He is very fast, and only slightly less fast now that he's gotten rid of the assists. But will be up to speed very shortly, I'm sure.
But he's driving a car.
Yeah, that's true.
Am I too cynical on stream in general? The tire choices will be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. We've got. This is another one where there's a gap, isn't there? Because there's an ultra soft.
No.
There's no gap, so it's just ultra soft, super
soft.
And soft.
The soft runners do just. Yeah, they try to fill the void between the start of the session and the faster lap times later on, where they can do their super runs, and they of course try to set a time on soft tires so they can start on soft tires in case they don't manage to get a super lap in. And sometimes if they are not too fortunate, then rain happens. But we've got Wimpy, Popo, Light Cruiser, Smeltino and Bascadinho on ultra softs currently. The rest is all assembled on soft tires.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be very interesting to see what the situation is. Akos goes fastest on a 30.2 so far on the softs. It is fast, and Atrocity as well on the 30.3. So lots of very fast people in the 30s as things stand. We're going to follow Popo Gamer around his lap. Now he's on the ultra soft tyre, so I would expect, given his pace midweek in the Tier 2 race, I would expect him to be challenging those times at the top of the order.
I must say this track is hated by a lot, but I really like it. It doesn't look particularly great. It's basically just a parking lot someone spilled a lot of color on. Like
yeah, it's alright. I mean, it's got some kind of interesting corners. The end of the lap is a lot of fun. Like after the Mistral straight, you've got the really fast right-hander into the, well, it sort of tightens, and then it's very long, it tightens, it gets much more challenging, and then you've got the long left-hander, which is also really challenging as long as you take the right road to get to it. This is the... well, this corner here is flat out the right-hander, but then you've got this one here, which you sort of turn in and brake at the same time, and you sort of swing out wide, take a second apex just there, and then go on to this little short shoot. You don't take that left-hander, you take this left-hander here, and that is another long left-hander onto what is kind of a straight. It's sort of a curvy straight, and then into the last couple of corners, which also are interesting. I think this left-hander is interesting. It's sort of a double apex, and then the tight hairpin.
Yeah. And he drives into the pits now, so he... Maybe Popo was just trying... He probably didn't pick harder as his choice of compounds, and so he's now probably going out on ultra softs 3 times, and every time just setting an out lap and an in lap to not set an actual time that forces him on a tie, and then he's going to do super softs. That's potentially what is happening, or what could also be is that he just invalidated his lap. That's
yeah, I think that's reasonably likely. It's very easy to do at the beginning of the lap because you don't really have any sort of... There's no walls or anything like that. The curbs aren't even particularly high. It's just the sort of painting on the track that you have to follow. As we see Danico on his first qualifying lap for Ferrari in this league. But yeah, it's one of those tracks where I mean, just track limits are just really annoying, and there are multiple people going to get penalties in this race, and we'll try and keep across the people that do.
That will work out, I'm sure.
Good lap from Triton. He's put in a 30.3 on those soft tyres. That was that Get Owned just crossing the line with his second lap on softs. A 30.6. I would imagine none of these times are going to be the actual qualifying times, because I think people are going to go out on faster tyres eventually. Is this one of those tracks, I should know the answer to this, but I don't. You start on, do you have to start on super softs, or can you go ultras to softs and make it work?
So in AOR, a league which we don't know what it is, because SLR is the greatest, of course, but in AOR Top Split I saw that everyone was taking the ultras, and they were taking them 6 laps, and then they threw them into the trash can and were like, oh, I'm going to tire conserve the heck out of these yellow tires of the soft compound. So it's possible, but I doubt we're going to see it here, because the more obvious choice is to do it with the super softs.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, because especially, I mean, with the grid as it is as well. I mean, there's not a full grid of cars, so you're not necessarily risking going all the way to the back of a 20-car grid.
Exactly.
This might make it a little bit easier. Get Owned doing another fast lap, crossing the line 1 minute 30.4. That's his third flying lap of this session so far. Now, we got some people going out on faster tyres. Atrocity on the super softs, who crosses the line. That was 1 minute 31.0 from him, so not particularly fast. And he's not on a fast one now either, so I'm guessing these just practice laps. These look like they might just be practice laps. So he is using the hybrid a little bit more than he was before, so we'll see what this lap is like. Just getting to the very edge of the track limit there. He's still on it. He's now in overtake mode, so as fast as he can down this straight. Just over the curb as much as you possibly can. You just got such a fine line between getting your lap invalidated and being very fast. Atrocity though 4/10 up at the second sector.
Still no lap, still only one timed lap from an Ultrasoft driver, and that is Wimpy in P9 currently on Ultrasofts.
Yeah, Akos is on track though.
Ah, okay.
So
yeah, I'm having the best time displayed not there.
Yeah, I did it until a second ago. I think fitted is what we want. And Atrocity did not manage to do that lap. He's obviously did invalidate it, so he pulls into the pits. Maybe just didn't want to improve on his current best lap, which was set on soft tyres. He's of course coming to the end of his lap. This is looking like, I would imagine this is going to move the bar quite a lot higher. Crosses the line, and he abandons his lap as well. So what are we seeing here? Are we seeing just people just doing one run on the softest tire?
Yeah, there's a gap. Time-wise, there's a big enough gap between the super soft run and the soft run, so I can put in 2 laps on the ultras to maybe have another look at how to push the limit on track limits. Like I did that as well to feel more comfortable about turn 1 or turns 1 and 2 in particular, because I mean, yeah, the lap is basically over if you attack it too much, but also if you don't attack it enough, you lose 3/10 or something.
Yeah,
so
something like that. It's really difficult. You just got to get it right. in the qualifying session. Yeah, Tipsy says, hard to call who might get pole. Atrocity is his pick. I think that's a reasonable shout. And certainly Atrocity did go out on the ultra soft tyres, didn't set a time, either decided not to set a time or didn't manage to set a time, one or the other. But yeah, there's the championship situation, by the way. Get Owned still leads the championship by quite a bit, 24 points from a chasing pack that includes Triton and Copy and a couple of other people. I think Astro is in there as well. Astro, of course, not racing today.
Yeah, but he recently, how should I put it? Yeah, he just got the ban hammer onto his assists because, or I think he hasn't received it yet, but he is definitely the first on the chopping block to get rid of assists. And I think he might already drive without them, but I'm not sure. I know there was a deadline, but I don't know where the deadline when the deadline was. Okay. Similar to what happened to Triton in Sarel. Here, it happened to Get Owned, which is understandable after he won 3 out of the 4 opening rounds of the season. Yep. And so that will probably tighten up the pack at the front, which will inevitably give us all a bit of a closer show towards the second half of the season, because there's only 15 rounds, and I think this is round 7? Is it?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think so, yeah, because we missed Monaco, so yeah, I think this is 7.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay.
So yeah, I think that's right. I think Get Owned has shown us Smeltino goes P7 on super soft tyres. Everyone now on super softs, by the look of it, with the exception of Atrocity, who's on ultra softs. But yeah, the assist situation is an interesting one, and I think when we have a situation where the fast guys in the league are not using assists, it'll just be a better experience, I think, both for people watching and for people racing. It's certainly a much more authentic experience if you don't have the traction control or the ABS to fall back on.
I love that subtle propaganda. Yeah, I guess the plan was to sort it all out until the season 3, which will probably happen on the announced 2019 game, because it's earlier than everyone thought. I think the original plan was to do like a 10 round or something, season 3 in between after this and the next one, but then they announced it for end of June instead of end of August like usually. And yeah, as a result, I guess there won't be another season on this game after this one. So I'm looking forward to this a lot, honestly.
Yep, me too. It's getting towards the sharp end of this qualifying session as well, as we see Triton on a fast lap on his super soft tyres.
Akos just had a bit of a moment. Atrocity actually on ultras.
Triton through the corner at the end of the Mistral straights. He turns in there, and you brake as you turn. Swing right out wide, clip the second apex, so we ran very wide there. As he goes into the long left-hander. Seems like he got away with it.
Wimpy retires.
Oh, what happened to Wimpy? Something happened to Wimpy. Unless he just decided to retire. I think we're getting towards that point of the session where people will do that. Triton then crosses the line. This is going to be provisional pole position. I think he crosses the line. He does a 1 minute 29.6.
That's a decent lap.
So he is I think the only person as Atrocity crosses the line on ultra softs and does a 28.7. That is a very fast lap.
Indeed.
Looking like Tipsy's pick for pole might be coming through here.
I mean, I guess it will for sure, because I doubt anyone will top that time on supers.
Yeah, I would doubt it. Light Cruiser goes P3 on a 1 minute 30.1. Caught him crossing the line there. Here's Get Owned, championship leader. He's halfway around the lap. Not sure whether he's going to be able to have another lap if he doesn't.
I don't think so. could be
improve on this one. It's going to be very close. 15 seconds until the end of the session. We'll keep a close eye on the leaderboard. Copy and Light Cruiser.
I think he will.
3 and 4 right now. Copy. Oh, and there's Get Owned goes straight on, and that will be the end of his session.
So we'll never find out. What a shame.
So Slash LP also going to cross the line here. This is going to improve his time. 1 minute 30.1, just gets ahead of Light Cruiser. So all Sauber on the second row now. Who else have we got? We got Akos, who's on those super soft tyres. Around the long right-hander. Go on board with Akos, clips the second apex very nicely. Doesn't run too wide, managed to get the power down nice and smooth around the long left-hander. Again, just clipped that apex, that was very nicely done. That was a good line through there. Again, this long left-hander, sort of clip the second apex and swing right back out wide to get the best possible run onto the main straight. Akos crosses the line and he goes second on a 1 minute 29.2, so he's the lead. Excuse me, the lead of the super soft runner, yeah. So good stuff from him. Copy's improved as well, I think slightly, on his final fast lap, so he goes third. He's put an extra lap on those tyres though. Triton relegated to fourth. Jesse crossing the line, he goes P8, well it was P8, it's now P9 because Edge has put a good lap in, a 1 minute 29.5 from him, so he moves up a little bit, and I think that is our session. So Atrocity, Tipsy was right on pole, but he is the only person who will start the race on ultra soft tyres, so everyone else going for the slightly better race tyre, but Atrocity deciding that he's going to try and make a break at the front of the field before we get to the pit stops. And that is your order. So Atrocity, Akos on the front row, Copy and Edge on the second row, 1 minute 29.5 from the both of them. Triton / LP on the third row. And Light Cruiser, Popo Gamer on his debut. Get Owned, surprisingly, although on the soft tyre, all the way down in 9th. But he will have to start. Hang on. He did several laps on those tyres, didn't he, Get Owned? That's bad news for him, because he'll have to start on those tyres.
Yes,
he did. I think he did something like 4 laps at the beginning of the session. So
yeah, he might be in trouble.
Yeah, that's very bad news for him.
Yeah, it will be really interesting to see how it all pans out with the tyres between Atrocity and the rest of the grid, because, for example, Rick in chat pointed out that softs can easily go the 20 laps. I disagree, but my tyre management is also a bit of a nightmare. So if it's easy for Atrocity, which I reckon it would be if you could make that statement, because he put in a really great lap, so you can assume he's going to be good at this, then he will be at a disadvantage for all of the race, but only a slight disadvantage. It will be interesting to see if the disadvantage is big enough for everyone else to get ahead of him, or to jump him again after he took the positions of them in qualifying using the Ultrasoft compound. That will be really interesting in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to see what will happen in that regard.
Yep, absolutely, as we see the drivers going off on their formation lap, relatively short lap around this Paul Ricard circuit. So this won't take too long, but yeah, only 14 drivers on the grid, which means that for someone like Get Owned, who would have been expecting maybe not to qualify on the front row of the grid, at the front of the grid with those soft tyres, it means that there are fewer people to knock him down out of the top 10. I'm sure he'd like to be out of the top 10 with that tyre situation, but unfortunately going to have to start on those fairly old soft tyres.
Yeah. It's currently P2 of the championship table. It's Triton, right? Am I wrong? Well, let me have a look.
I don't actually remember. It was 3 drivers all within like 5 points of each other. Maybe 4 drivers within about 5 points of each other. And Triton was certainly one of them, but I'm not sure Triton is actually second.
Here. It is Copy. Copy is 4 points out of Triton, and Triton is 1 point out of Astro Boy. So we've got from 78 points to 73 points 3 drivers, which is pretty cool. But Gadon is at 102 points, and behind them Yugos is 20 points down with 153. Yeah.
Okay, Hugo's unfortunately not driving anymore in SLR.
Yes, right, I forgot to mention that.
But the others all are, as we see the grid forming up.
Would actually be interesting to know if Atrocity is using assists. I would guess no, but I do not know. So if people in chat know him enough. Oh, right, that was even the... Okay, I didn't catch the message about it. Ah, yeah, he's using ABS was already.
Okay. Here we go then. 5 red lights, and away we go in France. Looked like a reasonably good start from Akos, who I think is alongside Atrocity heading up to the first corner. He's on the outside, though. He's going to have to go the long way around if he's going to make that move stick side by side, and he does make it stick, at least for the time being, and just forces Atrocity a little bit wide there as they go through turn 2 and down towards turn 3, but Akos has done it. He is in the lead of this race as, yeah, Copy and Edge side by side all the way through those first couple of corners. Good stuff, everyone keeping it clean, at least for the time being. Atrocity managed to take the lead back at some point. We didn't see that. I wasn't expecting a pass into there. And Akos now right in the slipstream as he goes, as Atrocity goes defensive, heading up towards the chicane. Akos alongside as we head into the braking area. Akos braking quite late, Atrocity braking late as well. Still side by side, the two of them. Heading up now, down the Mistral Straight, down towards the next right-hander, and Triton getting involved as well. And we might see 3 wide heading into the right-hander.
Oh, and Copy, Light Cruiser and Edge also really close to each other. They are running side by side through the end of the straight, and now 3 wide. Oh, Slash Up getting a hit for Popo Gamer there. We also have
an Atrocity getting sent wide as well, so Atrocity lost that second place to Triton. He got pushed wide, I think, by Akos as they went through the long right-hander at the end of the straight. So Akos now in the lead on those super soft tyres, and this is not what Atrocity wanted. He needed to make a break at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, they almost spun each other there, but they didn't end up spinning each other. Actually, Wimpy now will probably be passed by Smeltino. Smeltino lags.
Yeah, a bit of lag there, so Wimpy's going to get to keep that position at least for the time being. And
Atrocity running off track again. That will certainly be a warning for...
Did Wimpy just hit Slash LP there? I think Wimpy might have just hit Slash LP heading into turn 1.
Didn't have my camera there.
And Smeltino spun as well at some point. So through as they went through there, the first couple of corners, Smeltino spun. Jesse got sent all the way down to the back too. Meanwhile, back up front, Atrocity trying to do something about Triton in second place, but he's got his work cut out because those tyres are going to be screaming in pain very soon indeed.
Yes, certainly. There's somewhere from qualifying on, I'm just going to make a guess and say it's like around 10% or something. And now he's getting a really good run compared to Triton. He's having a look down the inside. Triton forced to go wide. He's almost on the runoff area there. They are still side by side. Next turn will be Triton's though. Both lines compromised due to the existence of the other driver alongside each other. No chance for Atrocity to get through here, even though Triton on the super soft
get a good run onto the straight though. He does the cutback, but doesn't really get that good a run onto the straight. Is it DRS time? DRS has just been enabled, I think, so he won't have it for the time being. He goes to the inside. Triton doesn't defend that, so I think Atrocity now is going to get that position, at least for the time being. And Light Cruiser as well.
Oh, Slash LP has spun.
Light Cruiser alongside Triton as well. Light Cruiser on the inside, still side by side, the two of them as they go through the complex, turn 3, 4 and 5. And Light Cruiser does get that position, so Triton loses 2 places in half a lap, unfortunately for him. And it's Slash LP spun, you said, so he's pitted.
Yes.
And he's going to put on what I assume are fresh, soft tyres. They are. So
can Atrocity take revenge on ACOS though?
Oh, and very close between Light Cruiser and Triton as they go through the chicane. That was a bit of a squeeze from Light Cruiser, just about enough room given as they head back up towards the right-hander now. Triton ducks back into the slip. Oh, what happened up front?
Atrocity takes ACOS through the, I wouldn't say kink, but now in the 180-degree corner. ACOS gets the inside line. Yeah, it's really hard to predict who comes out on top there every time because
I think Atrocity's got it though. I think he's moved ahead on those ultra soft tyres, so good stuff from Atrocity.
Oh, now he goes wide. ACOS, no room to lunge into there though, or like no momentum to
we got
make
DRS here though.
Better exit and DRS. And he's choosing the outside, which will be the inside for the 2 turns afterwards.
He's ahead before they get to the corner though, because DRS is very strong around this racetrack, and he got a very good run out of the final corner. A little bit wide from Atrocity. That probably was a warning for him.
Now to the inside, off turn 3. No room here. He'll have to wait for the straight. He'll get a better run for sure. But his tyres will be probably going to fall off the cliff right around now, I think. Or soon,
lap
at least.
4. And yeah, those tyres will be really struggling very soon. I think they're probably alright for another lap or 2, but not much more than that as he tries to go down the inside, but well defended by ACOS, who now does appear to have a little bit more grip, but he's going to have another go here as they head up towards the right-hander. Triton still behind Light Cruiser for 3rd.
Also, Atrocity has already got 2 warnings for extending the track, and I guess we saw both of them. They were probably both on the outside of turn 2, and it's a really tough place for that. At 3 warnings, of course, you get a penalty, and Copy is dropping down the other one. Yeah,
Copy spun, I think. I think he spun. Guess. I don't know whether he got help, but he certainly spun in the right-hander, in the long right-hander. So yeah, he's all the way down to 9th now, and that's really bad for his race. Meanwhile, Light Cruiser now putting pressure on Atrocity for 2nd here as they head down the main straight. Pulls out from behind Atrocity. Are they going to run side by side through the first couple of corners? It looks like they are. Atrocity has the inside for the next right-hander, and that's the penalty you were talking about. So he got those 2 warnings, and he just got a 3rd one, which means that he's got a 3-second penalty now. Light Cruiser with a little bit of a squeeze.
This is so close all the time, but no one has gone off so far, which is great to see. Now, who will be able to pass who? Can Atrocity re-attack Light Cruiser, or will Triton be able to take the vulnerable Force India car on old ultra soft tires? So far, I wouldn't say the tire gamble, or the alternative tire strategy has paid off, even though he's getting really close to Light Cruiser. He's weaving around a bit, so seeking a gap, not finding one. Triton is tucking in behind, not doing anything, and Gadone making a move on edge potentially. Oh, he's getting squeezed onto the runoff area. He takes out a brake marker bot, and now they are, oh my god, they almost came together in a brutal way. But that way Gadone only loses some time in the position to Popo Gamer. Edge maybe pushed him a bit there. On the other hand, Gadone should have probably yielded, and now Atrocity and Triton are running side by side through the last sector. Next corner will be Triton on the inside, but you can carry a lot of momentum around the outside for the last turn, and then you'll be on the inside, which is what happened, and I think they made contact, but I'm not...
No, I don't think they did. I think it was very good from both Triton and Atrocity, just leaving each other enough space, and Triton managing to get that move done, so he's up to 3rd place on those super soft tyres. Yeah, there was a bit of a lock-up, but I don't know how accurate that is on the spectator client, honestly. But certainly Triton now pushing on again and pushing after Light Cruiser for that 2nd place. He's on the same tyre, of course, and the same tyre as ACOS, who's our leader. And Atrocity really struggling on that ultra soft tyre. We've seen the effects of tyre wear in the first 5 or 6 laps of this race. So no DRS for Light Cruiser. DRS though for Triton as he goes down, heading up towards the chicane. Not close enough to make a move here though.
No, Copy.
Oh, did Copy retire? What happened to Copy? I didn't see.
I have actually no idea. It was in P13 before it happened, so disaster weekend for the Sauber crew.
Yep, unfortunately.
Oh, Popo and Edge running side by side towards the end of the straight now. Popo forced wide on the outside a bit there, and yeah, Edge taking the position. He's back up into 5th, and Triton and Light Cruiser are fighting it out for P2 in the meantime. The Ferrari on the inside here. There's a lot of side-by-side action happening through there, even though I always think of it as a place where you cannot really overtake it. You're just waiting for the straight. Maybe I'm not aggressive enough, or maybe those are just really aggressive, but in a good way, in a way that gives us a good show.
Yeah, it's like if you compromise your line, then as Atrocity pits, by the way, which is no surprise, he's on the ultra soft tyres, but if you compromise your line in the previous corner, which quite often you have to do, it means that you're vulnerable in the next one. So that is pretty much what's happening there. Get Owned now struggling. I don't know if he got damage from that situation with Edge a little bit earlier on, but Edge is taking absolutely no prisoners in that McLaren. He is racing very hard for that, what is now 4th position. Atrocity having pitted. He's pitted for the soft tyre, so I imagine he's going to go to the end of the race. He has to take them 21 laps, which is quite a while. I think he gets himself a penalty, unfortunately. In P11. Oh, Triton and Light Cruiser again. Heading into the chicane once more. Light Cruiser managing to get that position temporarily, but I think Triton now has the run. I think Triton's going to be ahead before they get to the right-hander, because it was really a bad run for Light Cruiser. There we go. So Triton back up to 2nd place, but all of that battling allowing Akos to pull out a gap now of more than 2 seconds.
Oh, and now Triton runs really wide there. That
yeah, it was a mistake
certainly
from Triton.
Wasn't planned. And now his entry is... yeah, his entry is compromising his exit. No room for Light Cruiser to take revenge, though. The field is so close together. It's really epic, I must say. Bascadinho on the end of the train. Yeah, he's the tail of the train, reaching from 4th to 7th, and they are separated by, I think, in total, like, 2 seconds at max.
Yep,
which is great to see.
Deciding not to go for the move on Triton there. I think that's pretty sensible. You don't want to be swapping positions too much. Runs a little bit wide on exit. Could have been a warning. Further back, Get Owned now. He is staying with these guys on the soft tyres, and it might be very soon that he has the better of the tyre situation, because he is on those softs, and even though he did some extra laps in qualifying, those softs are much more durable. Atrocity with another 3-second penalty. That's his 2nd of the race. None of the other front runners even have one, so...
that'll cost him big time.
Yeah, well, he's going to be really struggling towards the end of this race. Qualified on pole, but his race has kind of fallen apart a little bit. It started with the very start of the race. He got out-dragged, even though he was on the softer tyres, got out-dragged to turn 1 by Akos, and has gone backwards since then.
Pretty much, yeah. Just from what we saw in Tier 2 was that there were some drivers who managed to avoid penalties completely, which I think is absolutely... it's a respectable accomplishment, okay? I think it's really difficult. Then there were... most drivers had 3 seconds, and some drivers had 6 seconds. But I didn't see anyone with more. And now at lap 9, Light Cruiser coming to the pits. At lap 9, Atrocity has already got 2 penalties, which means he has got 6 warnings. That means he's getting 2 warnings every 3 laps. That is not too great.
Yep, that is a lot. And Copy in chat saying Triton lagged inside of him and he got wing damage from that, and they didn't change his wing in the pits, so...
oh, yeah.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Codemaster's not being very kind. What is that? Triton has... disconnected?
I hope not.
I hope not as well. He lagged a lot. I didn't
Oh,
exactly
he's
what happened.
disconnected from me.
He went to the back of the pack. He does appear to be back in the car though, so
Yes.
don't know.
Oh my, no.
So he's fallen to the back of that group.
And now he's a ghost again.
And we have now a battle for second again. Edge and Popo Gamer and Get Owned all running line astern. Edge is really racing hard here. As they head into the right-hander, he has to cover off that inside, gets himself a penalty for covering the inside too much. Oh, and then Popo Gamer pushes his way alongside. Edge just doesn't give him any credit whatsoever and forces him off track.
Edge is really having fun cuddling other cars today.
Yeah, he is. I have a bad feeling about this scrap, I'm not going to lie.
Yes, same now, then he killed past Triton. And Triton has rejoined.
Triton's back in the race, but and there's Edge pitting, so Edge deciding that he's had enough of bumper cars. He's going to pit instead and put soft tyres on the car. Yeah, Triton rejoins. He's all the way though towards the back of this grid. He did a 1 minute 48 last lap, which is 14 seconds slower than he can go. Don't know if he's back in the car just yet, but certainly that has cost him any shot at a win, and he was one of the people who maybe could have taken this race away from Akos towards the front of the field.
How many points will he be able to salvage now? That's
that is the question. So yeah, I don't know if it was a disconnect or if it was something else. It looks like it was a disconnect though. It's Popo Gamer now having to defend from Get Owned. He decides not to defend in the end. Get Owned on the inside on those soft tyres. Will have the better of the tyre situation now. And I've been kicked out of the session.
Thank you, very cool, so have I.
So, is this race still happening? That is the question. You've been kicked out as well, you said?
Yes.
Well. So we have a... What's happening here? Has the session restarted or something? I'm not seeing... I'm in, but I'm not really in.
I'm trying to join someone.
Trying to select people, but I can't.
Same.
So I can't see what's happening on track right now. Oh, I see somebody's pitting. So it looks like I can see, but I don't have any... I don't have a camera. Bunch of people pitting.
Hold on, what?
Oh dear, sorry folks. Sorry folks.
Please
don't exactly know. Don't exactly know what's happening at all. Yeah, I can't, I don't know. You can't get in, you said?
For the moment, not.
Okay. Because, yeah, I need an invite, I think. Because I think I'm not going to be able to watch anything here. Unless I can watch on TV. No, I can't watch on TV either.
What a wonderful pit lane.
Yeah, it's a very nice pit lane. You have to... Even got the little people up there, look. Watching what's happening.
Oh my god! All the detail! I wonder what they think if they see a car below them just stopped in the pits for 2 minutes before disconnecting.
Yeah.
Alright.
So we're gonna put that screen up. Not because it's a driver interview, but because it's quite a cool screen. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, look at that lad.
It's true.
Just,
absolute unit. Join game.
I am still in a epic loading screen.
Okay, it seems to have let me join again. I'll see whether I'm in before I invite you.
It's quite an alpha male indeed, Tipsy. Astro, we
Here
don't
we go.
know. Oh, right.
Here
we're
we
back.
go. We are back. You're not in, right?
You are back. I'm going to task manager.
Give me a sec. I'm going to invite you.
Kill my F1. Oh, great.
Alright,
I hope none of the drivers got thrown out. Although it would be a coincidence if it was just us two getting thrown out and not only, yeah.
Okay, so what's happening in this race? So it looks like the flurry of cars in pit lane we saw was Akos, Light Cruiser, and Light Cruiser's jumped Akos somehow. Didn't see how that happened, but he has, and that, I think, is for the effective lead of this race. And it's not, because Atrocity, of course. Atrocity, who's nearly 4 seconds up the road, who undercut everyone basically, but he's on much older tyres as we see Akos passing Light Cruiser.
A lot more penalties.
Yeah, and of course he's got a lot more penalties. That's a very good point. So Atrocity not really in the lead of this race, but Akos I think certainly is right now. Get Owned and Danny Coe have not yet stopped. So Get Owned leading this race. He's on the soft tyres. He was the only one, of course, to start on the soft compound tyre instead of the super soft, so he's still out there, which is not all that surprising. In fact, is he pitting now? He's pitting now, so he's going to have to come in. Did he hit the wall on the way to the pit lane? I didn't. I saw his car jerking. Not sure whether he did. Light Cruiser with a penalty. That's a big deal.
Akos is non-red.
Akos, yeah, I don't think he has any.
He has got 2 warnings, but no penalty.
Okay, so probably a penalty coming at some point, but for now, that's the fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 32.8. As we see Get Owned leave the pit lane. He's on super softs now. I wonder if he can get those super softs to the end of the race. Probably can. Just 15 laps, probably. Don't know, it'll be close. In the meantime, Akos pulling away from Light Cruiser now and closing the gap on Atrocity, as you would expect, because he's on 4-lap fresher tyres. Here is, at the moment, is the closest battle on track. 5th place between Popo Gamer and Get Owned. We head down towards the chicane. Get Owned will be looking to make a move, I think, quite soon. Pretty good run out there. Not quite good enough to make a move into the right-hander.
Funny enough, both on super soft tires now. Wait, why?
Because they...
Is that rain forecast or something?
Yeah, I don't know, because Popo Gamer started on supers, right? So he should... So he's two-stopping. He must be two-stopping. Unless there is rain, and there could be rain. We haven't had a weather forecast. We don't have our usual meteorologists in this race. Mainly OceanChief.
Maybe Copy can tell us because he is out.
Yeah, that's true. Copy. What's the weather situation if you're watching? Might well not be watching because he fell out of this race quite early on. As we see Get Owned now going down the inside of Popo Gamer. That is for 5th position. And that is a real 5th position, at least at the moment. So everyone in front of him, I think, is going to the end of the race. Question mark about Atrocity, but I think he will go to the end of the race. I think he will try at least.
I think he can do it.
You see,
the weather, the sky really looks dark. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some stuff going on.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. We can see, yeah, there's definitely some clouds. Just a little bit hazy and gloomy. Paul Ricard. As we see Akos continuing to close the gap on Atrocity for the lead of this race. Less than 3 seconds now, so even if Akos does get a penalty, he'll be in the net lead of this race still. He still is, or he's definitely in the lead of this race at the moment, because Atrocity has 6 seconds. Akos doesn't have any penalties as far as we know.
Yeah, I think there will be an attack happening soon from Get Owned on edge. Just through Sector 3, the advantage he's got with this super soft compound of tires it's tremendous. He just gets, every time they run through the corner, you can just see how, oh, he's putting in the fastest lap even. You can just see how Get Owned is glued to the ground and Edge is having to slow down everywhere to get through properly without extending the track or anything. And Get Owned just slides through.
And we do know what the situation is with Edge. He likes to defend. And he doesn't particularly give people credit for being alongside him a lot of the time. Didn't particularly get a good run there, Get Owned, though. So he might have to wait. Getting closer, Edge going right to the inside to defend. Get Owned, though, will have a much better run on the exit of this chicane.
Not quite possible yet. If you stay on, but you can see what I tried to convey when talking about Sector 3, just for example for this corner. Okay, never. Nah, still.
Yeah, he's certainly got. He's just obviously got more grit. But Edge, as we know, very difficult man to pass. There's Wimpy with a penalty towards the back of the field, unfortunately. So Wimpy doing his best out there, picking up some penalties. You see now, get owned. Now, did get a reasonable run that time, so he's going to be close enough as they go into turn 1. Is Edge going to defend? Yep, Edge is going to defend at the very last second. Wow, that was very late. And Get Owned does manage to get that move done into turn 1.
Yeah, this time Edge gave credit for being alongside Wendu.
Why is Atrocity ahead? Because, no, he undercut him because he was on Ultra Softs.
Oh, and I can see Drizzle! Drizzle on the car of Atrocity!
Oh, so that is interesting. So we are going to have a wet end of this race. And that maybe is why Get Owned decided to pit a little bit earlier than we thought he was going to.
Yeah, that's the reason for sure. Really going to bite himself now. But
and depending on when the rain comes, that might benefit Atrocity, although he does have those penalties still, of course, to deal with. 6 seconds worth.
What I'm wondering is, couldn't he have
Edge again on Get Owned for P4. Doesn't manage to get alongside though, so Edge doing his best to stay in contact with Get Owned, but I think Get Owned's tyres are just that much better. He's going to be pulling away, I think.
Couldn't Get Owned have stayed out for like 20 laps on the soft tyres until the rain came down?
Yeah, I mean the issue is that the rain's only just started. It's lap 17 now, so it's going to take a few laps probably before the rain.
Yeah, that's true. But if you can stretch them from lap 6 to the end.
Yeah, maybe. It's I don't know. It's close. It's close. I wouldn't have.
Probably not worth a gamble.
That decision. I am a little bit surprised, given the schedule. I'm a little bit surprised he put on the supers instead of the ultras. Maybe he was just worried about the unpredictability of the rain coming, so he put on supers to be safe.
I think it's better because he pitted lap 10, and I mean he could have waited a bit longer and then gone for the ultras, because he pitted at lap 10 and ultras last like, I don't know, 8 laps or something without qualifying.
Yeah, something like that. They're four laps old at the moment, so it could be that he was just worried about this rain and not knowing exactly when it was going to come, and maybe thinking that they might need to go longer than 7 or 8 laps, which is fair enough.
I mean, could have also been, but the signs don't look like it. But a theoretical possibility is, of course, that the drivers were not aware, because that's what happened at Tier 2.
Yeah.
Where the race was forecast cloudy all the way, and then it rained.
Yeah, that is definitely possible. But there is certainly rain on track at the moment. Smeltino getting ahead of /LP. That's for P10. So 10 laps to go in this one, and certainly rain has made this a bit more interesting than maybe we thought the end of the race was going to be. And it was already looking like it might be a fun one. Certainly Akos at the moment is the favourite for this race, but certainly with the rain, he's going to have to make some decisions on when to pit for intermediate tyres. As we see Get Owned getting right up to the back now of Light Cruiser. And we head into the chicane. You can see how slippery it is. The driver's struggling now to get the power down. Struggling to get the turn in.
From my experience, I would say from now it will probably take like 2 laps or something, and then they will have to come in for the intermediate set of tires.
Yeah, it's certainly, I mean, it doesn't look quite bad enough yet. for intermediates. And of course we'll see the DRS message, so we'll know exactly when the changeover is. As Triton, haven't followed Triton too much since he unfortunately disconnected for a lap or so, but he's fighting his way back very gradually. Now getting up to the back of Bascodinho for 7th place. Now get owned on Light Cruiser to the outside of turn 1, side by side through turn 1, and Light Cruiser yields as they head into turn 2, although Light Cruiser, I think, no, he's not quite fast enough to go alongside. That's a penalty for Edge, so I think that's his 2nd as well. So Edge, another one with 6 seconds of penalties.
Oh, Light Cruiser late lunge.
That was a very late
really
lunge. There's more contact as he pushes Get Owned to the very outside of the racetrack. Get Owned now right in the slipstream again of Light Cruiser.
Oh, Wimpy retired.
The outside Wimpy retired, unfortunately, so we didn't see how he retired.
Oh, snap aside through the chicane now. Get On trying it on the outside. But he can't do that there.
Yeah, Light Cruiser just not really giving space on the outside to Get Owned, so Get Owned out of battery as well. He's going to have to wait at least a little bit to get the pass done on Light Cruiser.
And now you can see the drizzle has intensified. It's now, yeah, you could call it rainy now. The track is not wet yet though, so I guess this lap and after this lap they'll come to pits, because
good battle between Bascodinho and Triton here. So Triton trying to go around the outside of the left-hander. He went on the inside of the right-hander.
Get on with this another shot at P3, and this time he passes him long way, even before the braking zone, and this is finally P3 for him after both of them had a really, really close scrap. Akos also closing down Atrocity, by the way, in the front.
Yeah, he's very slowly closing that gap. It's 2 seconds at the moment, and it was, what, just under 4 when they came out of the pits, or when Akos came out of the pits.
Akos still with that penalty, but with 2 warnings.
Yeah, no penalty for Akos, but and the lag there from Bascodinho, so Triton almost runs into the back of him. That would have been an unfortunate way to lose your front wing. /LP with 3 seconds in P11.
But by the way, when I'm talking about warnings, it could also be a collision warning, because there's no difference, and now he's picked up the penalty. Yeah.
Who picked up the penalty? I missed who it was.
Akos.
Oh, Akos picked up the penalty. Okay, I didn't see that. Either it didn't show it for me, or I just didn't see it. Triton has got the move done on Bascodinho, we saw into the chicane there, so Triton up to 7. Now Akos within 2 seconds of Atrocity, within about 1.5 seconds. You can see the situation of the rain. I still don't think it's quite bad enough for intermediate tyres. We're getting towards the end of this race as well. 7 laps to go. Maybe that is why Get Owned put the super softs on. He's already done 8 laps and it's still not time yet. Jesse gets 3 seconds. He's last of the runners, albeit not very far behind /LP. He's coming towards the end of the lap, so the field's still relatively close. Within half a lap, certainly nobody being lapped at this point. Popo Gamer cruising up to the back of Edge as well on those super soft tyres. So we might see some fireworks there in a lap or so. Doesn't quite have DRS this time, probably will next time though. That is for 5th place. Meanwhile, back up front, and that, what you see there, is the gap between the race leader Atrocity and Akos, who is 2nd, and the difference in penalty at the moment, 3 seconds. Atrocity, we think at least, has 6, and Akos has 3.
Yeah, I think that's the situation. Popo and Edge really close. And /LP already doing the Gasly. He's driving really carefully. It doesn't look too bad, but I guess that's because he's driving really carefully.
Yeah, going on to the intermediate tyres. We'll see what his lap times are like. I'm going to keep the camera on Popo Gamer for the time being, because he is pretty close to edge, and yeah, we'll see. Let's have a look whether /LP is able to have any grip whatsoever through the corners. Into the chicane. Oh dear, that's very slow, isn't it? Not time for inters yet, folks. Not really any doubt about that. I guess his tyres were really struggling. So still this battle for 5th position, Edge and Popo Gamer. And different strategies. Popo Gamer's tyres are going to be really struggling at this point though. Super Softs last about 15 laps. He's done 11 of those 15 laps. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Who is that for? I can't see anybody falling down the standings, so I assume that was just somebody running a little bit wide. I can see the rain coming down, and Popo Gamer just a little bit ragged on entry to that long right-hander there, and /LP pits again. Triton is disconnected again, unfortunately. So I think that's going to be the end of Triton in this race. I would have thought /LP as well decides to retire, having pitted for intermediates before it was ready for intermediates. Meanwhile, up front, Akos now in DRS range of Atrocity. So that is pretty much from now, pretty much a battle. Is it rain where the track will never get damp enough? That is a good question, and that is very possible at this point, because we're only 5 laps from the end of this race. Triton is back. Popo Gamer pitting and putting ultra softs on. That is very interesting, because yeah, that suggests that he at least thinks that we are not anywhere near the changeover for intermediate tyres. I heard from Thimo for a while. I'm not. Is he still there? He's not still there. Oh, he is still there. There we go. I was worried for a second.
Muted me for some reason. Okay.
Ah, okay.
And I was like wondering why the hell you would keep interrupting me.
Oh right, I see.
Really rude.
Good thing I said something then. That might have happened for the rest of the race.
Yeah, the fun part was that you were basically, every time I said something, you were agreeing with me by, repeating what I said.
Oh.
so that's why I didn't notice I was muted.
Well, there we go. Great minds thinking alike, but unfortunately not alerting Thimo to the fact that he was muted.
Oops.
So Akos now does... I say he has DRS. He wasn't using DRS there down the front straight. Maybe he didn't have it quite. But he's certainly within a second. Oh, and Popo Gamer just passed. Oh, that's. Yeah. I guess that's the ghost of Triton, isn't it? Because Triton.
No, Triton is back.
Oh no, Triton is back. Yeah, Triton is back. So he's,
Popo having ultra soft tires.
Yeah.
Makes the difference here.
So just much more grip. Triton does stay out.
The question is, has Akos checked the penalty situation often enough to know that Atrocity is technically behind him?
I would have thought
as
so.
he goes really wide there, and that might actually resolve that question.
Yeah,
because Atrocity is getting an atrocious run out of the lane, and now they are side by side, a bit of squeezing action happening there, and I am spectacularly thrown out of the session again. Beautiful error.
No. Well, I'm still in the session, so at least for now. I don't want to count my chickens too much.
Great.
But, I'm at least in for the time being. But yeah, Akos has taken the lead on track. We know that he was in the lead on the score sheet, and he's now in the lead on track as well. The other McLaren of Edge is still hanging around the back of Light Cruiser. He's, I think, certainly going to be interested in that 4th place. Meanwhile, as well, Get Owned is closing up to the back of the two of them, so we are now 3 laps to go in this race, and it is looking very much like we're not going to have intermediate tyres at all. Is DRS even going to be disabled towards the end of this race? And that does suggest as well, given that we've not had actual intermediate tyres weather, that maybe the drivers didn't know about this rain that was happening.
Yeah. Which is exactly the same happening in Tier 2.
Yeah. It's quite a coincidence if that is the case. Up front, Atrocity now very close. He's at the end of the DRS straight on Akos, but again, he's got those very, very old soft tyres. 18 laps worth, 3 seconds for Smeltino. He's running down in P10 though, unfortunately. So only the 1 point, I think, for him in this race. Now Edge, very close to the back of Light Cruiser as they head into the double right-hander. That right-hander that normally is flat in the dry, now probably very treacherous in the wet. Into the left-hander, there you go. 2 laps to go at the end of this one for these drivers. Still the gap 1 second up front, but Akos with a much bigger lead than that because of the penalty situation. He's got 3 seconds on Atrocity in terms of penalties. You see Edge just struggling to get the power down onto the main straight. Does have DRS, so we'll close that gap a little bit to Light Cruiser, but he's got work to do before he can think about making a move. Oh, and another 3 seconds for Edge as well. So I think that moves him out of any actual contention for this 4th place. He might pass Light Cruiser on track, but not going to be passing him any other way. On the score sheet, he's not going to be moving up to P4. And Coco Gamer now quite close to the back of Bascodino on those ultra soft tyres. He's going to have a lot more grip. You can see visibly, oh, as Akos gets himself 3 seconds. Now that is interesting, because with 2 laps to go, suddenly the penalty situation, I think, is even. Unless
Atrocity has really kept his stuff together after lap 9 there.
Yeah, he has. So, yeah, no more penalties that we've seen for Atrocity, but Akos has gotten himself 6 seconds, so we think the penalty situation now is even. Unless we've missed some, which is possible. Coco Gamer now right on the back of Bascodino. Is going to get much more grip out of the chicane. Going to get the slipstream as well. Hot lap ERS mode as they head up towards the right-hander. Oh, look at that through the right-hander. Very tricky through there, and he's going to just, I think, move down the inside of Bascodino here. Basco not giving it to him, but has to give it to him just because he's got so much more grip in that Haas. Basco hanging around the outside, at least for the time being. So he head into the left-hander, went very deep into there. And gets it. Yeah, again, gets the power down on the exit, and Coco Gamer does get that move done. So up to 6th place he goes. Meanwhile, Edge now very close to the back of Light Cruiser as they go through the first couple of corners. Last lap then, and Edge gets himself another 3 seconds, so no chance that he's going to be troubling Light Cruiser. But up front, we see the situation. Akos has a 2.2 second lead, and that is accurate as far as the timings go as well. They both, we think, have 6 seconds worth of penalties. Does Edge, did Edge just disconnect? Oh, he just spun and left the session. Whether that's a rage quit or what, I don't know, but he has just left the session, so his ghost is going to be going around for a while. So that promotes Popo Gamer and Bascodino, and maybe Triton as well, up into the top, what, 7. But the leader's now coming round, and yet it was indeed no intermediate tyres in this race other than /LP's failed experiment. But Akos, Atrocity is going to lose P2 to penalties. Maybe Get Owned doesn't have any penalties, does he? That is very possible. So that might be 6 seconds. That might be a big gap, a big battle at the moment that's happening, because it is very close to a 6 second gap. But Akos crosses the line, and we think he has won the race. And yep, the penalty situation is even between the two of them. So Akos wins the French Grand Prix. Get Own crosses the line, and Get Own did have 3. So he crosses the line third. Light Cruiser. Ooh, really struggling. Does he have a puncture? Or is he just trying to do, trying to spin across the line? He comes fourth. Popo Gamer crossing the line. He's fifth with that 2-stop. Ascodinio sixth. Edge, yeah, is going to be behind Triton. That's the ghost of Edge who's going around. Triton passes him. And Edge, I think, might be behind Danico as well. In fact, almost certainly is going to be behind Danico as well. In 8th position. RIP F's in chat for Thimo, who leaves the session.
Yeah, I couldn't load in. I had just the casual loading screen. Oh, yes, Martino's having...
Yep, he spins as he crosses the line. Jesse spins a little bit earlier in the lap, unfortunately. But there we go. Jesse going to cross the line. P11, no points for him, but a good performance. Stayed on the lead lap and kept it reasonably clean from what we saw. So good stuff from Jesse, and good stuff from all of the SLR field today. Good battles up and down the grid. But Akos is the winner, doing what he threatened to do last week in Canada for much of the race, and he does win it for McLaren. So yeah, RIP Brighton, unfortunately. Why did Edge randomly leave the session? I suspect that he quit out of frustration, but I don't know. But there is the winner. Akos wins this one. A little bit of a depleted field here because of the steam issues, but 14 drivers turning out, and Akos the best of them on the day. So he wins from Atrocity P2, Get Owned P3. That is your podium. Get Owned will retain and indeed extend his championship lead. At the front, he gets 15 points, and Triton, I think, who moves up into second in the championship now, he only gets 6. So it's a little bit, I don't know, driver of the day. What do you reckon, Thimo? Timo's gone. Oh well. We'll have to work out who's going to be driver of the day. Driver of the day might be Steam, honestly, for this chaos.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Thimo.
Forza Steam. I would call it on. I don't know. Probably either Akos or Get Owned.
Yeah, Get Owned. Yeah, after qualifying, I'm okay giving it to Get Owned. He had a struggle of a race after qualifying, but did the best he could with what he got, and managed to get it up to P3, almost to P2.
Yeah. I mean, really big honorable mention to Akos. I mean, both probably deserve it. I don't know. But I think Get Owned managed to slice his way through the field in a really impressive fashion, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it depends whether it's driver of the day, not driver of the race.
Yeah, that's a point.
So maybe we should give it to Akos instead.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Akos is your driver of the day and your race winner then, in that case. So, well done to him. He gets 25 points. And we move on next week to Austria, right?
Yes.
Get Owned's home track.
Yes.
So he will be doing his best in that one to further extend his championship lead. He now leads the championship by, I can't do the math by myself.
Points.
It's something like 36 points, somewhere around there. Don't have the standings as we go, but that's going to do it for this broadcast, folks. Thanks very much for watching. A little bit of a truncated post-race show, unfortunately, because I've got to prepare for this Enduro that's happening in 25 minutes, and so does Thimo. So follow that one on. I think Revo's going to stream on his channel, so we'll put a link in chat to Revo's stream, right. And we're going to get that one. We're going to get that one up for you, and going to be streaming into the night with that one. But any final thoughts, Thimo?
Steam is and will forever be the most valuable provider of crashes when it's race time.
Yeah.
Apart from Codemasters of Fun, of course.
Yeah. Thanks. Special thanks to Steam and Codemasters for this broadcast. Unfortunately, we did have a few issues, but we got through it and we got ourselves a race after all. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.